speaker is going to be Rich Chamberlin, running for County Commissioner Precinct 2. Thank you all very much. What crowd, huh? What crowd. We were worried about the attendance when this thing got planned a few weeks back, but I can't tell you how pleased we are with the attendance that we received. Before I say a word about my campaign, I just want to say thank you very much to all the volunteers who helped make this happen. Let's give them a big hand. There's always a question of a candidate as to why they run. We get that question all the time. I'll try to answer that in a couple of sentences. Well, maybe a couple of sentences. I had the opportunity, privilege actually, of serving on the grand jury last year for 6 months. We met every month for 6 months. And I got to see some of the cases that are brought to the court asking if there's enough evidence to go further with the prosecution. And I got to see all of our hard-working law enforcement officers at one point or another who brought cases to the Commission court. I saw during that most of the cases dealt with illegal drugs. And this county is such a great county to live in that we need to rid ourselves of that element here in Trinity County. And I said, after thinking about it for a while, that in itself is the reason to run, is to try to help law enforcement do a better job of reducing crime and making the county a lot safer than it is. It is a great county, no question about it, but that's one of the key reasons. The other reason that sort of got cemented after I decided to run was the primaries here in Trinity last March. We noticed some irregularities, to say the least. We need to change the way elections are run in Trinity County. Although they're better than they've been over the years, there's still some ways that we can improve. And we're out there trying to make that happen as well. And win or lose, and don't misunderstand me, we do plan to win or lose, we can help clean up the election process. I think we've made a big step forward for Trinity County. The other thing I saw when you look at the current county commissioners, and there's some great people that are serving, it's all one party for the most part. You know, they have different views, different philosophies, but it's all one party. And I believe that every American political system ought to have at least one representative of the other party. I'm standing here asking that may be with your support on November 2nd. The other thing is we need better, safer roads. I put together a plan. Just change the slide for me, please. I put together a plan, a 4-year plan, but basically it's centered around what I think has to be the success factors to changing how we govern ourselves in Trinity County. First of all, we need the leadership. We then need business growth, not tax-based growth, but business growth. Not tax on property owners, not additional taxes on property owners. We need business growth, and we need to create the environment so that business wants to grow. And that's doing the things you've heard some of the other candidates talk about today. We need to make sure we're managing our resources properly. We need to have better and safer roads as part of that resource management. And we're going to work on that goal as well. We also have to do a better job of emergency preparedness. It's fine to handle emergencies after they've happened, but we have to get in a habit of putting together a plan, practicing a plan that allows us to deal with emergencies a lot better than we have in the past. I talked earlier about supporting law enforcement to reduce crime and illegal drugs, and then we need to have cooperation, synergy, and teamwork with the other commissioners and the staff to really get things done. We don't need to be suing each other as commissioners when there's a problem. We need to be working together. Abe Lincoln was born in a log house. This is my grandmother's house in Jefferson City, Montana. I was born in Holland, Montana, about 18 miles away, and we came home to this house periodically to live and to go to school. There was no plumbing. This is a picture taken last year. There still is no plumbing. My grandmother has since gone, but the family is trying to keep this old log house in shape. It was built by my grandfather for my grandmother in 1921, and moved across the river to the location in town. It was up on the hill before. I tell you this not to do the Abe Lincoln log cabin, walk 10 miles in the snowstorm to get to school or return the library book, but there is a similarity, don't you think? Next slide. This is one of the other houses I lived in for a while in a place called Vietnam. I want to show you some grandkids. They're pretty good looking. In the middle is Miss Hattie Mae Chamberlin. She's a freshman this year in college in Wisconsin. And that's her younger brother who's a junior in high school. His name is Sam Clemens Chamberlain. These are two granddaughters that we adore very much. They're helping serve. They've grown up a little bit since this picture. But on the left, my left, is Miss Annie, and Miss Mary is on the right. I say hello to them. They were one of the volunteers. These are two other grandkids in Freeport, the one on the right, and help me, know her name. Alexandria. Some of you who were at the Patriot meeting heard me say that and mentioned to the press, who had already left by that time, that I was having an affair with my campaign treasurer. This is her, and the family dog, whose name is Gideon. If I don't win this election, this is the look I get from Gideon when I come home. We live in what we call wonderful Westwood. Some of the photography we've been able to do over the years, just to sort of give you an insight to our campaign. I think one more than that. We're celebrating Texas history with this election. I know you think this is a scene from the Alamo, but this is actually the streets across City Hall, March 2nd, during the primary here this year. In closing, I want to say again how much I appreciate the support of all of those of you who have contributed to the campaign in one way or another with your time, for your bucks. So not just you belong to the campaign, it's a good one. We thank you for that. I also mentioned in some of the brochures and so on that we came up with that we are taking back our country one precinct at a time, one county at a time. And with your help, we can do that. Patriots have been very helpful to us. I think all the candidates have did that. Vicki Ogden and her crew have done a wonderful job. They have a meeting at Romo's restaurant on Tuesday next week. Their regular monthly meeting. We encourage you to attend. When we get this bigger group, we might have to pick another location. But they are doing a fantastic job helping pull together conservatives who want to see the right kind of changes in our government. As we said before, it's not really right versus left, it's really right versus wrong. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. We appreciate the support for working with you in the election. Thank you.